Oh, I thought I heard music.
You see the new.
Or when you're a jinx. When you're not here, there's always like tons of people.
See the new house. They're live. What happened?
And we're live. It's exciting, right? I said, and we're live, and you were like, whoa. So don't worry, though. The camera's positioned just right, so you're not seeing your head. So welcome to On Set. Hey, Ephraim. I am Daniel Norton. We're live on YouTube right now, spanning the globe. So just in case you don't know that, so I'll just get to that right away since we're live. Every Thursday that we're here, we do stream. So if you guys can't make it on a Thursday, although we love to see your smiling faces, even with all the snow out here. So you either really wanted to come to this class or were stuck in the snow and you just didn't have a choice. I'll take it either way. Yeah, if you want to watch on youtube.com/Adorama TV, every Thursday at noon, we stream. So if you guys can't make it in, please check that out. Also on Adorama TV, there's a bunch of other tutorial videos, great stuff. Hey. So anyways, we'll just get right down to it. This is kind of part two in a sense of what we did last week, which was kind of an introduction to Flash or basic Flash or something. I can't remember what I called it. This is beyond basic Flash. So we're going to talk about kind of fun stuff you can do with Flash photography, kind of different techniques to play around with it. This is going to be pretty loose and informal in a sense. I'm just going to start doing stuff, and if you have questions, ask. If you want to see something or have an idea, please shout it out and we'll give it a shot. Or I'll tell you, I'll explain how to make it work if we don't have the facility to do it here. If I didn't say it already, I'm Daniel Norton. This is Dave. I think I skipped that part.
Maybe.
Yeah. And Natalia. Yeah, I'll remember that. And Natalia is here as well, going to help us out as the model. She's she's an acrobat, Cirque du Soleil acrobat. So we're going to try to do some fun stuff. And yeah, also just because I felt like it, we're going to use small flashes today. I didn't say that, but in the promo, so hopefully you're okay with that. I do have a big one in the back. We can just point at it a lot if we want. I'm using speed lights because I feel like they're really fun to use, and a lot of people like to use them, and we had them out earlier for something. So we're using an Nikon system today. I will try to say everything I'm using as I go. If I don't say something and you want to know what it is, please ask. I might not know exactly the alternative for your brand, but somebody here will be able to help you with that if I don't know. This is a Nikon, like I said, it's the D500, which is like a APS style camera. It's a pretty neat little camera. The reason why we chose this one is because earlier, like I said, we're playing the speed lights. It has this little transmitter, radio transmitter, which is kind of nice. So we opted to go with that. We keep forgetting the jerk stopper. I finally broke down and bought a jerk stopper. Does anybody have a jerk stopper here? Oh, okay. You should have one. It's really, now that I have one, I hate that I don't have it. Basically, it's this thing that goes from your little, where the strap goes, and it holds your cable. But it holds it in a way that you don't pull it out when you're shooting tethered, which happens all the time to me. And there's a second piece that goes to your computer, so you don't pull it out of the computer when you're shooting tethered, thus losing that one great shot that you were tethered and you basically lost. But that's a whole different class. So, but anyways, that's a jerk stopper by Tether Tools, and we just got one. I bought it at WPPI, and it was really nice. But I keep forgetting to bring it down because we use the cameras obviously off the display here, not my personal camera. Anyways, now you know enough about that. Natasha. Natalia. I'm getting closer. So anyways, so here we go. So I'm going to start off with the most basic thing. I always start when I shoot Flash this way. I think it's really important to cover every single time. That's why I do it. And that is, when you're using Flash, one of the main reasons to do it is to take control of your situation. The best way to do that is to eliminate all the light in your space. So if you know you're going to light something with Flash and you don't want to mix it with the light in the space, which we're about to do in a minute, but you don't want to do that. The first thing you want to do is set your camera up so that your frame that you shoot produces no image when you shoot with just the available light. So in other words, you turn off your flashes and you set your camera with the lowest ISO that it goes to, which is 100 ISO in the case of this camera. Lowest within its normal range. If you go below the normal range, like with the special features, you'll actually introduce noise sometimes. So I don't do that unless you have to. So go to 100 on this camera. You want to set your shutter speed at the fastest speed in which it will sync with the flash. That being said, speed lights have such a thing called high speed sync, which we will talk about today. Every time I do this, I say we're not going to talk about that. We will talk about that today. So So I could go higher, but just for the purposes of this, it's 250 usually on Nikons. So we'll set it at 250. Those two numbers are always going to be the same. Lowest ISO, highest shutter speed, right? The third number in your exposure triangle equation is your aperture. What that is going to vary depending on your environment. If you're standing in Adorama, doing a demonstration, it's going to be about f8. We know that because I do it a lot, and we just know that. For where you are, you can figure it out a few different ways. Number one, just set your lens somewhere in the middle, like around f8, f11, and take a picture. Right? If it's black, you're good. If you have an image, you're not. You got to close down more. You could then, at that point, start to open up until you get an image and kind of find your spot in between, the sweet spot. Another way to do it is to use the meter on your camera, right? Your camera has a meter on top of it. It has a little line going back and forth. Adjust your aperture until you get all the ways, so that usually most cameras have a 2 or 3 stop range on the top. Make it so it's fully underexposed, and that'll be your starting aperture. Again, make a few shots until you get one that's completely black. The reason for this is if the frame is completely black, we know that any light in the frame is being introduced, by us, thus from our flash. Yeah, we're seeing a tiny bit on her shoulders here.
I'm at 5.6. So.
At 5.6. So we're going to close down the lens a little bit so we can try to eliminate that. Obviously, if you're in your home studio or a professional studio or any place where you have control, even a conference room if you're doing corporate portraits, you might be able to just turn off the lights too, which is going to help you so that you don't have to shoot so closed down. I generally shoot portraits around 5.6 f8 anyway, so this is not a problem for me. But if you like to shoot wide open because you spend a lot of money on a lens and you want to do that, feel free. You would just have to do that by increasing your shutter speed, which we will do in a minute. Okay, so now that we've done that, right, we have our black frame. We have a flash setup over here. I'm using the flash off camera. We have it set up via Nikon's radio system, and I'm not going to get super deeply into that unless people want to know specifically about it. We do specific classes on off-camera flash and getting into the details of it. Just for the purposes of using this, we're using a little radio on the camera to fire the flash, right? It is going to be in the TTL mode, I guess, right? So TTL meaning through the lens metering. Through the lens means the camera's meter that's inside of it is what's going to give you your exposure. So the flash goes off, the camera does all kinds of math, it gives you the right amount of flash power to give you a proper exposure as it sees fit. Is it always exactly what you want? No. And you can adjust it, and we'll play around with that a little bit. But for the sake of just getting started, we'll just leave it the way it is, and we'll just take a picture, and we'll see what happens. So we've got this inside a little Westcott octagon beauty dish thingy. Cool little accessory. It's always nice to put something in front of your flash to make it larger. Making your light bigger is going to make it softer. Softer meaning that your shadow to neutral transition is going to be more gradual. You're going to get not a abrupt line for the shadow. You're going to get a little bit of gradation, which is very, very useful and nice. The bigger your light source relative to the subject, the softer it will be. So if you have something pretty small like this, you want to get it in nice and close if you want it to be soft. So flash fired, perfect, cool. That was good. So thanks for coming, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. No, so you can see now that we've lit her up. The TTL is working. All this light here. I'm glad that you laughed because nobody else did. It makes me feel better. At least the model likes my joke. All the light here introduced in the scene is from our flash, right? We get that? Yes.
This is with that setting that you just described.
That is correct. We are at 250 per second, f8, 100 ISO. The flash is set on TTL, so just to give us that exposure.
Without the flash?
Without the flash, it is that. So all the light you see in that scene comes from this flash. That is the power of flash, right? But let's say, for instance, we want to do something where we want the light in the room to affect our shot, right? This is where we start to talk about making adjustments to the camera. Normally what I say is that if once you've got that base exposure, because people ask us all the time throughout the session, they say, what's the camera set at? I don't change the camera. We need the camera to stay at those settings if we want the frame to be black, right? So anything else, brighter, darker, whatever, we're going to do via the power of the flash. But let's go the other direction for a second. Let's say that you are in an environment, and you want to show that environment, but you only have your one flash, right? So you want to mix the light together. So mixing the light is basically the same process. We want to establish our camera exposure first. Then we're going to bring our flash in to shape the light the way we want it. So let's say that Natalia, boom, see that? Third time, is the CEO of Adorama, right? And we want to photograph her here with the store in the background, right? So, we should get Barry. Barry's here, actually. So go ahead and stand here. We want to shoot you. Look, there's even a T on the ground. How'd that happen?
This one?
Yep. That's good. You're very smart. Almost every model stands the wrong way. I don't know why.
If you said the store in the back.
No, I know, because you're listening to me. I like that. See, I like her already. She's winning brownie points. She laughs at my jokes, and she faces the right direction. So let's say we want the store as the background, right? Obviously, you're going to be in the shot too, but just we want the store as our background. So again, we forget about the flash. We kill the flash. Flash means nothing to us right now. What we want to do is establish the exposure on her that's going to look good. Now, if you are in a spot like this, like I'm looking, she's obviously lit by studio lights, which is kind of cheating a little bit, but what we're going to do is, actually, can we just kill those just so we can, at least those ones, the two Aries, yeah, just so we can see it better. Otherwise, yeah. So here she is, right? She's more or less in the darkness. Maybe leave that one on or something. We don't want her in complete darkness, because then we're really cheating. Somewhere in the middle. There we go, that's probably good. We have a little bit of light on her. We're gonna try to position her so that to not get any, like if you have kind of fluorescent lights, let's say overhead, you don't want to put them right underneath the light. You want to set yourself up so that that light maybe gives a little bit of a hair light or whatever, kind of put them just outside the feel of it. Look at the light that's in the room first, right? Now, we take an exposure, I guess that was set at our normal settings, and we see how dark it is. We're just getting little bits of the side in there. What we want to do is we want to now establish a better exposure. We can get the room to come up a bit, a couple of ways. Either, I guess technically three ways, but you can either open up your lens more, right? Which will also give you the benefit or penalty? I don't know if penalty is the, not penalty, but I'll think of a word. The benefit or not benefit of being more shallow depth of field. We may or may not want that, right? You could go slower with your shutter speed, which of course is going to give us the same amount of depth of field, but if our subject moves, we make it a blur, right? Or you can raise your ISO, right? If you raise your ISO, you're gonna bring in noise. So you're making your compromise, just like you do in any type of situation. I think we wanna go a little more shallow on the depth of field. Is that what you did? Yeah, I think opening up is nice because when you're shooting a store with a lot of stuff going on, we don't necessarily want it to be totally sharp in this situation. Maybe you do, it depends on the shot, right? What we want to do is establish an exposure for the store, an exposure that we like the way the store looks. This is more important than our subject at this moment, and in fact, if I'm going to shoot somebody, especially somebody like a corporate portrait or something like that where I don't have a lot of their time, I'm going to get to that spot first and get this all set up. This is going to be done before they get there. Have whoever walked you to the store, like that's helping you, the security guard or the manager or whatever, be the stand-in, have your assistant, have some random person who's walking down the hallway to get a glass of water, get them in the shot, whatever. Don't waste the time of the main subject and tire them out. Get this set up first. So let's say that that's our background. Do we like that? It's okay. Would you like it to be lighter or darker? He wants to be lighter. Okay, so right now we're at 2.8 at 400 ISO at 1/100th of a second. So we can raise our ISO maybe. I think 200 ISO is probably okay. Depending on your camera, right? The ISO raising thing is gonna really have to do with how big you're gonna print it, your camera. Oh, you're at 400, I'm sorry. Not 200, yeah, 800 is what I meant. Did I say 200? Yeah, I think we can go to 800 with this camera. It's pretty decent. At higher ISOs. And again, this depends on your camera. So you use whatever, is that better? Okay, so this is how we like it. Let's say that you didn't want to go to 800 ISO. Your other option is shutter speed or a faster lens, which we do not have. We have the 24-70 zoom, which is a 2.8 lens. We could go to a 50th of a second instead and stay at 400 ISO. We are on a tripod, right? Assuming our subject's not going to be moving around a lot, 50th of a second is not so slow that would be a problem. So that's your other option. Let's actually do that because I don't really like shooting at 800 ISO. Yeah. I'm very old school like that. 800 ISO is just really scary for me, even though these cameras can handle it no problem. I feel like it's cheating a little bit. You used to shoot 25 Kodachrome, right? I had heard that they were trying to bring Kodachrome back, which is really interesting. Did anybody here shoot Kodachrome? Nope, everybody here is very young. Okay.
You think 400 up nice?
Kodachrome was like the film, I mean, this is before my time, of course. I think 400 ISO 50th of a second or something like that, right? That should give us the same math.
All right, and then
Yeah, if I'm doing the math.
I've gone a little lower too.
Right, Dave's framing it up slightly differently, different. I feel like I'm using strange words today. I don't know. What do you think, Erwin? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, so we changed our composition. That looks kind of nice. Makes her a little bit more powerful in the scene. Okay, so that's what we got, right? Now we've got our room. So you'll notice that the room is very orange in color. It's orange in color because our white balance is set to flash, right? Flash is on the cooler side of the spectrum. The store is lit primarily by tungsten mixed with fluorescent light, so it is a little bit warm. It kind of depends on what you like. If you want the store to be more neutral, you're going to have to play around with that and then put a gel on the light, which we'll do. Or, before we do that though, let's start with having it be warm, because I usually like my interiors to be warm, although probably not in the store. If this was a house, I'd probably want it to feel warm inside because it's not meant to look exactly right. This being Adorama, in certain colors being important, like with brands and stuff, we might want to have color correct. So let's start like this though. We'll use the same, let's bring it in overhead. Normally if I'm shooting a female subject, I like to use what's called butterfly lighting, which basically means that you use a lot of butterflies. No, it means that the light is coming from more or less above in the front. It creates a shape like a butterfly under their nose, assuming their nose is shaped like a butterfly. We're using a C-stand. You can obviously let it Rembrandt or however else you like it. I just prefer this for female subjects. I feel that it makes good shape to the face. It narrows the face. It doesn't make any shadows across the face, generally, which is preferable for most. Should I say that? Erwin likes to use a lot of like Rembrandt lighting on female models, but that's up to him. I let him do it. So basically, our light is coming down across the face, right? Lighting her up. Going to give like a nice shadow, a little shadow under the chin. You know, really pretty nice. As always, we want to get the light in as close as possible. Although, keep in mind that the closer you put the light in this position, the more overhead it's going to be. So you're going to have to kind of compromise with your angles because we want light in her eyes. So, you know, it might be further back depending on your setup. And again, we're in TTL. So theoretically, even though our exposure is 50th of a second, 400 ISO, 2.8 now, we haven't made any, we moved the flash all around. It should still give us a decent exposure. You know, should. We're going to find out in a second. Questions so far about this? It's pretty good. Getting rid of the light in the room, bringing the light in the room back in. And again, we're in Adorama, right? If you didn't know that. So this is our settings. If you're standing on the street, right, or you're in your apartment or you're by some windows, you will have a totally different exposure. Keep in mind that the trick here is just to get the exposure to look the way you want it to look, not so much an exact number. Okay. Yeah. Rule number 2, always turn the flash on when you're ready to use it. There we go. So now we have balance, right? Our subject is lit up. She's looking quite beautiful. Erwin's looking back, making the face back there for some reason, ruining the shot. There's always somebody back there ruining the shot. And in this case, it's Erwin. So she's got nice light across her face. The store is lit up. Again, it's a 50th of a second, so if she moves dramatically, she'll probably get a little bit of a blur on her. But since most of the light is not touching her, I'm okay at a 50th. Actually, let's just see. Move dramatically while Dave takes a picture.
Just move.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, okay. That is dramatic. Yeah, so you can see where some of the available light is touching her hair. You've got a little bit of blur, but pretty much on her face, it's still sharp. That's because she's not sitting in the light, right? And that doesn't really bother me. In this case, I think it's completely acceptable. So we would have no problem shooting her in this light at the shutter speed, right?
More dramatic.
Yeah, even more dramatic.
Okay.
Are you Italian?
He is.
Yeah, it's very Italian.
Yeah, heritage.
Oh, she's getting a chair lead.
that?
Yeah, like a YMCA?
Okay.
Are you going to do the whole thing? Oh, that's nice. Well, she looks very excited. I think, though, that you're not moving very much. Now Erwin's trying to keep a better face. Okay, so here, we're a little bit softer because she's coming up, right? So now we're a little bit unacceptable. So it really depends on what you want, what your subject is going to be doing in the shot. Typically in a portrait and a mixed situation, they're not doing much. But let's say this was a wedding. They might be moving around a lot, right? So you want to keep that in mind. In that case, you might go faster shutter speed and bring your ISO up. It's all about making that compromise, right? Cool.
In fact, maybe try walking.
Yeah.
Like walking by?
Like looking.
Oh, we're going to do a walk by.
Yeah. You ready?
I'm ready. Yep, so there she is, she's walking by. Yeah, and we can see that where she's moving, here, again, blurry, the flash is more or less freezing her face, so which is the most important part. Because you see there's two different zones of exposure here, right? We've got the back of her, which is being lit essentially by this light here. We can even see it, right? The front of her has barely any of that light on her, so the flash is taking care of all of that. The flash is in TTL, which means that we don't really know the flash power. It's the right amount of power that the camera thinks you need. So the way TTL works is every single time you make a photo, it remeters, right? And you can compensate by saying, hey, TTL, unless you know its full name, but that's the name most people go by. Hey, TTL, that's a little bit too bright. Next time, could you make it a little bit less? And what you're doing there is you're giving it what they call flash exposure compensation. You're saying, make a reading, but give me a little bit less. Make a reading or give me a little bit more, right? Keeping in mind that it makes a reading every single time. When you put your flash in manual, it will always be the same exposure. It will not change no matter what's going on, which is also useful for certain things. And you can do either or both depending on your situation. I typically try to use TTL until it doesn't really work, because sometimes certain situations make it a little bit goofy. And when that happens, then I switch to manual, because it's very convenient to work in TTL, so why not do it? And I didn't bring my handheld meter again, so it'd be a process if we were shooting manually to figure out the exposure, so this is pretty good. Other questions? Yes. Uh-oh.
How is
When he picks the glasses up, I know we're in trouble.
this is just for a reader. How is your flash compared to my flash if I'm doing just, because I don't have that flash. If I'm doing like an indoor, doing some indoor photography, so I have using TTL on my my flash here. I mean, in comparison to this, what's the great difference?
What's the difference between your flash and mine?
Yeah.
Well, mine is obviously better. I mean, come on now. Which flash have you got?
Quality-wise.
I mean, what you pay for, I'm going to make a very general answer because I don't know what flash you have. What you're generally paying for in flash is on some level durability, but also consistency in both exposure and consistency and reliability in both exposure and color. So good flashes tend to give you very consistent results over a long period of time, both color-wise and power-wise. Meaning that if I set a cheap flash, let's say in manual, and I fire it a bunch of times, you'll probably see variance in color and power, right? If you use a better flash, theoretically, you should see that less. How that affects your life and how you're rolling might not matter at all. You may never notice it. For certainly, some inexpensive flashes can be totally fine. Some expensive flashes cannot be fine. So, but generally speaking, that's what you pay for in flashes. Reliability, consistency, some durability.
Are within the same system.
Retail value,
Power
resale value, I should say.
and
Well, yeah, and if you're within the same system and you're stacking up, like what's the difference between this flash and the one below it, usually it has to do with power and zoom range and sometimes some other functionality. So like this is the 5000 Nikon. It has a wireless TTL as opposed to radio wireless versus just optical, which is what the one below it has. So you pay for some other features. But as far as like, what I usually say is if you can get the branded flashes and the better ones, go for it. I mean, why wouldn't you always want the best equipment you can afford? If you can't, if you don't have the budget for it, you don't shoot with it enough, get what you can get, because you're better off having a flash than no flash, right? So anything you got will work. I have a, I don't want to say how old it is, very old Sunpack flash that I still have, that was given to me by my father. And I use it whenever I use manual cameras because it's completely automatic, which I think this one can do that too. Automatic is different than TTL in the sense that an automatic flash actually has a sensor on it and it gets the reading from the flash. So it'll work on like manual cameras that don't have TTL capability. So I keep it for that reason because I have a bunch of old manual cameras, and this flash works great. I set it on 5.6. I walk around, I shoot with it. The flash is older than Natalia, for sure. Probably even.
You're going to get opportunities to photograph Natalia later on.
Am I going to get a chance? Probably not.
You, yeah.
No. I don't think we'll have time for that. But we do open shoots, though, which is probably what you're referring to sometimes here. If people don't know that, where we have models and people can photograph them. Today, we're more of a straight lesson, but thanks for asking. She's very flattered. Okay, so moving on. Let's say, though, right, we want blur. We want to do what's called pop and blur, right? Pop and blur meaning pop is the flash and blur as in the subject's going to blur. Let's say we want to blur. Let's say we want to create something kind of fun, right? You can do it a few different ways. You can have your subject remain still and move the camera. You could also have the subject move and keep the camera stationary. You could also do both, but then that tends to be a little bit messy. So for that, I think I'm going to back the flash up so Dave has room to move a little bit, right? And again, it doesn't really matter if we move the flash because we're in TTL, right? So if I move the flash, it's going to automatically compensate. What will happen, though, is it'll need more power, right? And it'll probably let you guys up a little bit more because the flash now, the ratio is going to be different. So I'm going to raise this a tiny bit, too, I think, just so it's out of Dave's way. And what we're going to do for this one is Natalia is going to remain still, I guess, and Dave is going to move the camera. This is a fun technique. I use it a lot. It can create some really cool stuff. For this, we're going to use what they call first curtain sync or regular sync, which means that when you're using a flash, your flash fires, then the rest of the exposure happens. That's normal flash firing, right? So if I set my flash on my camera on a 5-minute exposure, as soon as I press the shutter speed, the flash fires. Then all the rest of the exposure happens, then the shutter closes. There's also something called rear curtain or last curtain or second curtain, they call it, which basically means that the exposure happens and then the flash fires at the end. There's reasons to use both. Typically, it has to do with if the subject's moving and how it's going to affect the scene. If you're like, for instance, want to, like in this case, second curtain would be hard for us because Dave's going to move the camera, which means that as he's moving the camera, he's not going to know exactly when the flash is going to fire. So if he's trying to get his good composition, it's going to be tricky to use rear curtain for that. Other times, if things are moving through your scene and you can kind of time it, you may want it to start at this end of the scene and then blur through and then pop at the end. You can, like shooting cars going by is the most classic example, because if you do regular sync, the flash will fire with the car here and then the headlights will be on the wrong side. Like the taillights rather will be the wrong way because they will have recorded after. So if you're shooting cars, people often do, well, you probably shouldn't stand on the side of the street and shoot cars, but if you're doing it as a job and you're okay to do that, only because you're scared people with the flash, you might want it to be blurry and then frozen, right? That makes more sense. Let's say you put LED lights on your model and they were running, right? If you do first curtain, frozen, and then blur goes past them. If you do rear curtain, blur, frozen, right? But again, it comes down to timing it. So I think it's going to be easier to do first curtain, and that's what we're going to do. Also, with off-camera flashes like this, sometimes you can't do rear curtain. It doesn't allow you to. I'm not sure if this system does it. I don't think we've tried it yet, so because this is the new radio system from Nikon. We like to go into these things trying new stuff. Why not? Keep you guys on your toes.
I've also changed it to a 13th of a second.
So he went down to 1/13 of a second in 100 ISO. The reason why he went to a 13th of a second in 100 ISO is, well, math to balance it, but if you're going to move the camera or have something moving, oftentimes having a longer exposure is going to be better for you, right? If I'm at a 60th of a second or something and I try to move the camera, it's only moving that tiny little bit. I'm not going to get as much of a cool blur going on. So lower shutter speed is going to give us a little bit more time to play. So take it away, Dave.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Be kind of stoic again.
Okay.
Oh, stoic.
Yeah,
Stoked, like happy.
like stoic. Like,
Oh, that's what I got. Okay.
Yeah. Do people say stoked anymore? Maybe it's not older than Natalia. Oh, okay, kind of interesting. Again, everyone's ruining it. So here we've got Dave move the camera, probably up and down, I guess. And it created this kind of painterly background, except for Erwin. You're just exactly in that spot. Oh. Well, that's me. Oh,
Let's
okay.
slow down even more.
Okay, we're going to go even slower on the shutter speed. Again, yep.
Mentioned a different positioning for male and female. For the subject, what would you position if it was a male subject?
Okay, so the question is, because I always say that I usually like to photograph women with the butterfly light. How would I photograph for men? Well, for men, you typically want shadow across the face, so I may do something like a side light or a Rembrandt, because oftentimes when you put shadow on somebody's face, all the texture is going to show up, and typically having like a rougher texture in your face is more of a masculine beauty. Whereas not having that is more of a feminine beauty, right? So I typically would want to create shadows on the man's face. So Rembrandt is often good where the light comes from one side. You know, casting shadows down is often good for a male subject.
Has, like,
This isn't bad. It's just
flashing right directly to my finger. I keep preempting it.
preempting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
What's interesting here too is, by the way, is you could notice when Dave goes side to side, the light from the store, right up here, is much brighter than the light that is on you guys. So you're not that blurry, right? Whereas up here it's very blurry. So actually probably an up and down is going to be better, because that way you can capture some of that light. Also, we're reaching a point with the slower speed, I think, that that we're starting to get a little bit more light on her too from here. Maybe try going a little bit, like go to f5.6 or something. There's always going to be a balance here, right? Is figuring out how much. Oh, interesting. See, she's more solid here. Not because 5.6 gives you more depth of field, but because now there's less light in here. So you got to figure out where you want to be exposure-wise on your subject. We could totally cheat here and kill this thing if we wanted to. Let's do that actually, so we can have a. We'll make it as dark as possible. People on the internet hate that right now because they're probably looking at me. They're like, it's so dark. Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, they're probably just looking at the thing. Sorry, internet people. Yeah. So again, that's pretty cool. Having control of your space is important, right? When you want to start to get into the special effects. This type of stuff, it requires a bit of a longer exposure. So now this could be the same shot. Let's say that I'm in the city, and I find a spot where there's like don't break a light because I said this. There's a broken street light or something, so you can put the subject more or less in the dark. But behind them is, let's say, the road going by, and there's cars and stuff. You could do the same technique. You do a bit of a longer exposure as the cars are going back and forth. You'll get kind of cool blurs behind them. Boom, she's frozen with the flash. As long as none of that light from the street lamps or whatever is lighting her, she's always going to be frozen, right? As soon as she gets light on her, then you start having issues. Yeah, now we're going to try to have her move through the scene. Okay. Yeah. Now what's interesting here is that we had turned off the light in here, right? So, there we go. Oh, did you move the camera too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
Moving it is still in.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right? We got moving camera and moving subject. So basically you've got, oh, that's pretty cool actually. I'm looking at it like, oh, that's pretty cool. So now again, we're combining the techniques. So let's just have her move. Actually, can we turn the light back on too? We'll get a little light on her. We'll have her move, and then the camera will stay stationary. And now she should get a bit of a blur. Again, this is where a rear curtain might be good, but let's just try.
Front curtain or
Rear curtain. Actually, I'll do it this way.
I'll just like.
You can turn. Oh, you can rear curtain. Okay. He's going to rear curtain it. Rear curtain again. It's going to fire at the end. Theoretically, making a blur of her as she walks through, and then freezing her at the end, as long as we time it perfectly, with no practice. But she was part of Cirque du Soleil for many years. She quit because she didn't like how circuses treated elephants. There's no elephants in Cirque du Soleil. It's more of like acrobats. Actually, I don't think they're gonna have elephants anymore. Didn't they say that Ringley's brothers or whatever is not gonna? It's hard to bring them around, I would imagine. I mean, hard on the elephants, not hard on the people, obviously. You must put them in a truck. I'm sure they just put them in a truck, but that's going to be tough traveling around. Right, Erwin? Any questions while we, that's not related to elephants?
Okay. And we want it to be.
Just figuring it out. Just doing math and stuff back here.
We should have like random like one-game moments like this where like we do like a giveaway, do a mini game. Like
Oh, we can give something away. I'll give away a free piece of candy from the cashier. We should do this. We're going to do that. We need a t-shirt cannon. Everybody write into Adorama and tell them that they should buy me a t-shirt gun. I've been trying to get one for a long time. I mean, not like a major, like dangerous one, but like a little one.
we can build one. Easy by stuff.
I could build one. But I would rather just have one given to me. If somebody wants to send a t-shirt gun to me, Adorama is located at 42 West 18th Street. Right, so go ahead and send us a t-shirt gun, and I will start shooting t-shirts into the audience.
I was just trying to remember.
Not the t-shirt I'm wearing, obviously. What-
You should put your face on a t-shirt.
My face on a t-shirt?
Yeah.
I was gonna actually the plan. Although if I say it online, people, well, I'm gonna say it. We're thinking about making a Gavin Hoey face t-shirt.
Amazing.
That's gonna be the best. So I'm very excited about this. Gavin doesn't know, so now he probably will if he sees this. Actually, because I want that, so that's the reason why I've decided that. I don't want a t-shirt with my face on it. I feel like that'd be weird. I don't know. It's not weird that my face is on a t-shirt, but for me to wear a t-shirt with my face on it. Oh, that is also true. Could be the puppet face. Yes. It's youtube.com/Adorama TV. Yeah. Nobody watches network TV anymore. YouTube is the place to be. Right?
Right.
Maybe? How about we just do it manually?
Yeah, go ahead and pop it manually.
We're just going to do it manually. So basically,
I'm like, I
yeah, just
honestly
kill
can't
that thing.
remember where it is.
Just pull it out.
Oh, but I'm gonna resync them all. I'm gonna turn it off in here.
Okay. Yeah, just turn off the TTL. So basically, what you can do here, because a lot of these flashes remotely will not. Well, this is going to be interesting. Because now it's going to have to be manual.
Yeah, I gotta turn this on first.
Cool. Yeah. All right, I'm going to set the flash on manual.
Okay, now try it.
Okay. Hold on. So the reason why I'm setting it on manual now is because
You wanna pop it?
we're going to pop it by hand. Nope, that's not it. If I could see, I'd be able to do this better. That's in TTL. Mode.
We have to get exposure first.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Oh, it's very dark in here. See, my glasses are about to go up too. Actually, can we turn the light on? There we go. Why can't I take it out of that mode?
You had it.
There we go. It's in.
Yeah. Nope. No. This. No. Oh, done.
There we go.
And then we go to this.
You know, let's just do this. Let's just do this because I can't see it. I'm just going to use this flash because I'm standing here just doing this for no reason. All right, here we go.
All right. I'm gonna start at like a 30 or a 64th power.
Okay. All right, so now it's wait, that's not enough power for F8. It's probably like one-eighth power. So we're guessing now.
I'm just gonna give it a quick.
That's not
test.
going to be enough. Okay, kill the lights. Stand in the center. All right, so we're manually popping the flash now. So once Dave shoots, we're going to try to coordinate this. Yeah, I'm ready. Nope, I was too slow. One more time. Well, you guys tell me.
Do you want me to go longer?
You need to turn off the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
And
I did that time. All right. So, yeah, not nearly enough power. We need it to be like, because remember we have the softbox going on in here. So we're setting the flash up manually. I think I might end up using this one as well. Okay, where's that? 1/8?
1/8.
Cool.
Still not nearly enough. So let's boost it to half power.
I'm going to use this one. It'll just be easier because then I can move it around too. Now, let me use this one. So I'm just going to use this separate flash. That way we can leave that one where it's at.
Started at full power.
Yeah. Well, I got nothing on this one, so I'm going to go.
I'm not seeing it at all.
Yeah, I know. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna use this one. Go ahead and test the camera, Dave. I'm just gonna switch to this flash just to make life easier.
Okay, and 3, 2, 1.
There we go. All right, so we've got the flash, right? And I'm bringing it in manually. This is, by the way, hard light, right, from the side. Not exactly the most attractive, but we're gonna move around a bit, so it's not really gonna matter. And what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna try to, you're gonna have to do a much longer exposure though. We're gonna have to go to a,
Yeah,
that's a third of a second. I think you have to do 1 second. All right, here we go. So she's gonna, you're gonna start over there and you're gonna walk towards me and I'm gonna shoot this hopefully within the 1 second exposure. This is where it becomes very exciting. Actually, I don't wanna screw it up. You do it. Yep, come here. If I screw it up, then people will make fun of me. So this way, if you do it, you can be made fun of. All right, you just have to press that button when she's in the right spot. Don't screw it up. Okay. Oh, that was pretty good. I kind of like how you kind of aimed it at her in a weird way.
are we at
And there's Irwin.
Did we raise the power on our
No, it's not that. He didn't fire it during the exposure. He missed it, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, your fault. I knew you were going to screw it up. That's the reason why I didn't want to.
All right, and whenever you're ready.
Pop. I think what's happening is we're getting the exposure, the exposures to close down close the lens on. It's too overexposed.
I can go down, don't stop.
Yep. And also we need that light back on to trace her. So Chewy, can you run the system back up?
Yep.
Yep, there we go.
Okay.
Now without the flash, just do it, just see what's happening. Remember that whenever you're trying to do a technique and it's not, oh, so you fired the flash anyways. He did not care. He was like, whatever. Whenever you're trying to do, but by the way, you nailed it. See, okay, so see what happened there? That was the flash freezing her. It's a little underexposed because we closed down the lens, but yeah, there you are, perfect. You just need to get her later, and we need to increase the power. Yeah.
So I went for all the way from like.
See how he just ran? Why are you running?
Let's get a quick test again.
Yeah, come back in. All right, because you're doing such a good job. Just make sure you get her in the right spot, though. That's not the right spot. You got to get her when she's on that side.
And then come go just a little bit, like face.
At the end of her exposure. It's really tricky.
Like you're already walking.
I think you can do it, though. I could tell. You've done this before.
Right there. Okay.
Right there is when you want to shoot her. But you have to get there exactly on time, just like the start to Slay days. Yeah, you don't have to, vault or anything,
So
but
let's get a quick test of
Yep.
exposure.
test.
So
Whoa.
ready and
Go. Nice. Oh, you're getting it now. There you go. Perfect. Now. Oh, you should pan with her.
I thought you wanted to.
No, you're right.
For this one,
I got excited for a second, but I get too many things. I love a good pan.
we'll pan with it. And then
All right.
we're pretty good, right?
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Ready?
Yep. Oh,
Okay, you need to shoot at the end of the exposure. So once you hear his camera, give it a heartbeat and then fire again.
when she gets to the specific.
Otherwise, you're only lighting up Irwin. Irwin, you should use that as your new profile picture. I like that. It's pretty nice, actually.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, that felt good. Oh, yeah. Well done. Right? So now,
Just not enough light.
Yeah, there's not enough light on her to give her a blur. What we need to do to get this,
That,
yeah, turn the Aries up.
or that one. The front left.
Yep.
Joey.
You know what this would work better? Yeah, bring that one. You know what would work better actually would be to use a dark background, and then lighter.
Yeah.
So actually, that's fine. Perfect. Can you turn that one on too, Chewy? We're gonna move the set. Quick move. All right. So the store is too bright. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have her here instead, walking through. That way the background can stay darker. I'll move this. This is not poking anybody in the head. Yes.
Disassemble it.
When you had to store the background in the flashes on manual to brighten or darken your ambient light, did you change the aperture, the shutter speed, or the ISO on the camera?
Shutter speed and aperture.
We changed both the shutter speed and the aperture. But to make it darker at that point, we changed the aperture.
Okay, so
Yeah. And then we just turned the power up on the flash.
and that's what you would do, like if you were shooting like the CEO of the company and you were changing, like when
Mm-hmm.
you flashed on manual, you could change the aperture if you wanted to get the background sort of brighter or darker.
No. The reason why I changed the aperture in that case versus the question is, sorry, for people who couldn't hear, the question is, would I do that if I was shooting, let's say, a portrait of the CEO? I wouldn't, and the reason for that is, in this case, the shutter speed is the most important thing. We need enough shutter to get the blur. So I don't care what the aperture is. In the case of the CEO, I'd want my depth of field to be a little bit more shallow and my shutter speed to be a little bit faster because I don't want it to be blurry, right? So in this case, we went the other direction. We want her to be blurry on some level. We're trying to create a bit of a blur. So let's actually see. If you just, oh, look at you. She suddenly had a drink. So let's see if we have her move through this field of light. Don't flash her yet. We're just going to see what it looks like. So we're setting up in a base exposure.
Where, okay.
Yep. So you're going to walk through swiftly.
What's swiftly?
Swiftly? Swiftly means fast.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's try real quick before I take a shot, just so I know
Yep.
where
So go ahead and go swiftly.
to. Okay. Maybe come at an angle.
Did that feel fast?
Yeah. And
She's chilling. That's swiftly for her. You must be the person who walks around on Sunday.
and then
You're that person. You know what I'm talking about.
in the middle, basically, just for a second, so I can
Okay.
frame up
Hold
focus.
it for a second.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, go for it.
With attitude. Boom. Oh.
Okay. That's it. Great.
Okay, that was it. Dave's feeling it.
Yeah. Same thing.
Let's see it without the flash though, so we can see what the flash is doing.
Go for it.
It's important to break things down as you're working on them, so you can get a feel for what each individual piece is doing.
Right there.
Because if we just start adding all our components right from the beginning, we're going to find that if it doesn't look the way we want, we're not going to know what to change, right?
Okay, now it's good.
This feels really weird because I'm looking this way and I see her, but she's also there. It's kind of freaking me out.
Back. There you go.
Where am I?
Go there.
Oh no, I like that camera.
Okay.
It was just weird. It was like creating like, oh, there we go. All right, so here's kind of a blur. This is what we're getting when we don't use the flash. So now, let's add the flash.
You want to make it brighter?
Let's make it a little brighter. With what, a longer exposure? That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
The reason why, again, I'm making the choice for a longer exposure is theoretically, the longer exposure is going to give us more options as far as when he's going to fire the flash, but also will make it easier for us to kind of sync up everything. Like as far as the longer the exposure, the easier for the flash, really. At this point, it's already blurry enough. If we go too long on the exposure, though, and making it bright, we'll start losing our blur. She'll disappear. She won't be there, right? So we got to figure out the happy medium.
Do you think maybe going to F8 would be
So what were you at? 2.8?
right? 16.
Oh yeah, go to F8. Yeah, I guess that shutter speed was fine. Go to F8 and see what that does.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna have to adjust this too, but we'll do a test shot.
Yeah. Same thing.
All right, so one more time without the flash. I know you're getting anxious. He's excited to make this happen.
Add
Cool.
Too much, maybe. So.
All right, so go somewhere in the middle. Yeah, F11. Okay. So we'll do F11. We'll test it again,
Try again.
right? Interesting. Let's say that we like that, just for the point of being able to move forward. Now we add the flash. So come to where she's going to be, not you. Come to where you're going to be when you're going to be flashed, so near the end of your frame, right there, I think. And then flash her once when Dave tells you, so we can see. Not like that.
You hear it? Oh, oh.
Oh, he got it.
Got it?
No, he didn't actually. No.
Try it again.
Okay. It's just that there's an exposure there. It's not a terrible exposure either. There we go. A smidge bright, right? Also, it's hitting the background. So why don't we play around a little bit? Let's come over here with the flash, right? Try to get it off the background a bit,
Put your hand there, maybe.
like that. Oh, sorry, too fast. Oh, ah, look at that.
You may have double tapped.
No, I didn't. Cool, that's gonna be cool. So it's a little too bright, so I'm gonna come here and adjust my power to quarter power. Actually, I think it was half, almost down 2/3, so I'm gonna go here. Let's try that again. Right, so now, oh, that was pretty good. Okay, so now, okay, so you got it, you're gonna do it, right?
Sure.
All right, I'm giving you all the credit. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ready?
All right, so do a pirouette as you come through.
Cool.
Okay.
And go. A bit early on the flash.
Yeah, a little early on the flash, but here's a good example though of this is what first curtain sync would kind of look like. The blur's in front of her, which is the reason why we want it at the end, because yeah, that's a little bit weird. I mean, unless you like that. If you're the client and you like that, then it's great. It's exactly what I went for. But no, we want to get her at the end.
All right, ready?
Yep.
And go for it.
Still too early. You're getting better though. Go a little bit later. You got it. I'm feeling you. Oh, my computer fell asleep. There we go.
Are you ready?
Oh, and then it went to sleep again.
Aha.
There we go. Yeah, I know. I think when Dave woke it up, he's put the thing in the corner, my hot corner. Okay, there we go. So we're getting it. So right now, it's all about timing, right? I think that's fantastic. That's probably the best I've ever seen. Now, see if you can pull this off. As soon as Dave takes a picture, fire it, and then fire it again at the end. Think you can do that? All right. This is multiple pop. Moving up there. Oh, that was a little too late, but okay.
Yeah.
That was never.
That was one
You went from instead of shooting it twice. So when you multi-pop, it has to be during the exposure. All right, good, good.
Okay, ready?
I like it.
Do you hear it? Now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to try walking like at a more brisk pace too. Like.
Yeah.
Faster? Okay.
Brisk. Oh, wow. Dave's good at that.
Yeah. This is every morning for me.
Yeah.
I basically
Dave's the guy that's behind you in the subway when you haven't had your coffee yet, and he's like trying to get around you.
push them off.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Go.
Oh, almost.
Still only got one.
You're getting there, though. I got confidence in you. We might need to go with a slightly longer exposure if we're not getting it. But let's just try it one more time. I have faith. Dave was about to give up on you, but one more time.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Again.
All right, so let's go with a longer exposure. So in order to do that, we're going to have to, yeah, exactly.
2 seconds.
2 seconds. So we need to go to, what was that, like somewhere around. So now we got to give ourselves some more power. Let's go to 2 seconds, but let's just go to ISO, yeah.
That's good because I don't have. What is that? Oh, I see.
Or not. I'll just bring the power up. It's fine. It's all the same
I
math.
don't want the ambient to come in too much.
Okay. All right. You got it? You feeling it?
Let's see.
All right. You got more time now. You have 2 seconds. 2 whole seconds. You thought 2 seconds was a long time. It's not really.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
something happened there. That was nice.
That feels like half a second.
Indeed. By the way, though, that was a good point. That was a half a second.
There we go.
So, you didn't see what happened there? She would still flash exactly the same because in these situations, your shutter speed is almost irrelevant to the flash exposure.
She was
Oh,
just
almost.
far forward.
Yeah, that was good. You got it. I'm feeling it. In fact, you probably can frame it up so that the very first shot happens. Don't move until he fires the flash. You fire the flash as soon as the exposure starts. That way you're in the right spot. And frame her right at the edge.
Do what now?
So frame her kind of like that. And then don't walk until he shoots the flash. And you shoot the flash as soon as you hear the camera. And then once you hear it walk, then come. It's just like Search and Delay. There's a lot of moving pieces.
Oh, so I'm already in the frame right now.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
That way we can get a perfect.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
And go. Oh, hold on. that but fast.
Yeah, that but fast, exactly.
Okay, ready?
There's a lot of anticipation going on there. Right. As soon as you see the flash fire, you go.
And then when she gets to here, you fire the second time.
Okay.
That should be your in. Okay,
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
I have confidence. I'm not even gonna watch.
Nope. Yeah. Don't look. Nobody look.
And
Well, you should probably look. Oh, that felt good. That felt good. Nice. Well done. All right. So we're getting now this double exposure. Now.
Fire. What's that?
Now. When you get to this end, turn around. You shoot the picture and run to this side.
Wait, turn around and look where? This
Back
way?
towards this way.
Okay, that way.
so you.
You can do it. I have faith. I have faith. I have faith. You boom, and then you're gonna go boom. Yep.
Flash her again. Once she turns around.
What do you think? What do you think? We're gonna take bets on this one.
So I get here and
Yeah.
then do this.
No, not you. All right, I will walk it out for you. You're gonna be here. He's gonna flash, and you're gonna go like this. And then you're gonna go like this. Yep. Exactly. Just like Dave. Exactly.
He's gonna have that clue moment. Right?
Yes.
And then right over here like this.
All right. So here we go. I have total confidence they're gonna pull this off.
I'm not gonna even watch.
No, we're not even gonna look. Just don't kick the tripod over.
Right, yeah. Don't trip over it.
Yes.
And
We don't have any insurance. So.
nope.
Wait.
Ah, what happened?
Start there. Okay, ready?
That was good though. That was we're getting there.
Go.
Oh, I think so. Oh, the framing was slightly off, but that was good. All right. You came a little bit too far, otherwise that was good. One more time.
I did.
Well done. All right.
And then try maybe.
Yeah, if you keep the light off the
When you come
background.
back this way, you have to change your hand to block it.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
Yes. Good luck with that.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
And we go.
Oh, that felt good. Yes. Well done.
Pretty.
Well done. I mean, it's a little hot, but it's good though. The concept is good. Yeah, it's pretty. It's nice, right?
Very weird.
Very. You got it right. You came up here. You couldn't even get the initial thing. Now you're the master. Now, just for fun, let's do one more where you just try to shoot it as many times as you possibly can from the one spot. So you just come towards him. He's going to go pop, 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 pop.
Okay, go.
With a lot of energy. It may not shoot that fast because of the low power.
But we'll give it a shot.
We'll give it just as many times as you can do it. And whenever you're ready.
And we go.
Oh, that felt good. Oh, nice. Actually, let's do this.
Try coming over here.
Yep. Yeah. That way it doesn't hit the background too.
It's like further to the side.
Yeah.
And then just walk.
Now we're making
walk faster.
Okay, yeah.
Ready? Shutter speed. And
2 seconds.
go.
2 seconds is the shutter speed. That was pretty good. Oh yeah, nice. So again, I mean, obviously you could be doing all kinds of stuff. We're just kind of demonstrating the process. Yes.
What flash are you using there?
That's a Nikon SB5000.
Oh, that was-
Yeah. Yeah, we're not messing around. You know what flashes even faster? The D2. We need a power cord though. Do we have a power cord? We're out of time.
We're out of time.
No, we need like a flash power cord. All right, next session we'll do that. Oh, sorry, online people. We're gonna do it again, but we're gonna use the Profoto D2, which is gonna. It is right. That's what my alarm was, right? It's 1 o'clock. Well, I don't have a power cord for it yet. We're gonna basically use the Profoto D2, which is a studio light, and we're gonna plug it in, and that thing recycles like. So we'll be able to get a whole bunch of splashes. I'm thinking 20 or so, maybe not 20, a lot of flashes. Thank you so much. That was very helpful.
Good luck.
Yes. So I don't know if we covered everything we're supposed to, but it doesn't matter anyways. Chew is kicking me out. Thanks for coming, guys. So next week we're actually doing something a little different. We're doing a dialogue. So if you're interested in filmmaking or you just want to see some actors do a dialogue live, it's like going to Broadway but free. We're going to shoot an entire dialogue here. We'll also stream it. So if you're at home, you're on a date, in-laws are over, whatever, you don't want to be there. Go ahead and tune into Adorama TV, which is youtube.com/Adorama TV. Is that all the stuff? Oh, the used stuff. I always forget to, by the way, if you have used equipment that you want to sell, camera-related equipment, I guess, not like your car or anything, Adorama buys stuff, and Andy always asks me to say something, so even if you're online, you can send it in here and they'll give you money for it, and you can buy more stuff with that money, I guess. Because you can't, right? It's not like you're going to put that in the bank. You know you're not going to. You're going to buy more stuff with it, but it's okay. We allow you to do that. So then the week after, I don't know what we're doing, but it'll be something fun. It might be Passover. Passover's coming up. Guys excited?
Yeah, Passover and then Vegas.
Yeah.
NAB.
Is anybody going to NAB? Not any filmmakers here, right? Chewy's going. We're going. I got a text on my wrist. It's like I'm still not used to that yet. You know what I like about this? This is the Apple Watch. Is it wakes you up. Because when I take the train, I like set it to wake me up so I don't fall asleep, without like waking up the whole car. Because it doesn't go like beep, beep, it like just vibrates on your wrist like you've been electrocuted.
On the 30th, you have single light portrait technique.
Oh, we're doing single light portrait techniques on the 30th, so that should be really fun. So if you're not a filmmaker or you can't come next week, for whatever reason, the following week after that, which is the 30th, we're going to make portraits with a single light, which is really kind of fun. So we'll get a little bit more into that part of it, the technique of making it actually look really good as opposed to just kind of taking pictures. We'll do that on the 30th. So. Oh, really? We already have that far out. And then advertising photography on the 6th. That'll be super fun as well. So that's what's coming up here. There's also tons of other stuff. If you take out adorama.com/events, Chewy's out here all the time doing his events. I think I covered everything. Yep. Yeah, if I don't cover everything, they don't pay me. So I have to make sure I get the whole shebang out there. But thanks for coming, guys. And we're back at 2 if people are local in New York to mess around with more stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
We didn't do
My speed sync.